hard to take care of central Massachusetts. Within days of the governor's state mandate to close, we opened our doors even wider to children. We offered more than 1,600 emergency childcare slots at no cost to families of essential workers, ensuring their children were cared for so that they could join the battle to keep our community safe. Doctors and firefighters, grocery store employees, and healthcare workers had somewhere to turn. We did what we do best, provided a nurturing environment for children to learn, to play, to thrive in these unprecedented times. It didn't stop there. Tackling food insecurity became paramount. We know that hunger has many faces: children, the homeless, the elderly that can't go out to a grocery store. With help from local partners, we distributed over 67,000 meals in less than 100 days. And sometimes, you just needed to hear a friendly voice on the other end of the telephone. YMCA staff connected with over 7,000 members, offering resources for spirit, minds, and body, while reinforcing the bonds that have been built over the years. It wasn't easy for anyone, but we did it together, and that won't ever change. We are Y Strong.
I need help, and I don't know what to do.
My mom says it's right where I left it.
I never felt so isolated.
Everything looks and feels so different.
Community is all around us. There's no doubt that we are living in unparalleled times. But at the YMCA, we know exactly where to find community. Whether you live in Southbridge, Fitchburg, Leominster, Westboro, or Worcester, or anywhere else in central Massachusetts, we all continue to battle the impact of COVID-19. We must rely on our combined strength and partner to deliver programs and services that address the needs of children, teens, adults, and seniors.
The Y is open, and we're working hard to exceed local and state protocols to ensure your safety. And don't worry, we can still connect 6 feet apart, even through partitions and in our many online classes and virtual programs. It's important that we take care of ourselves and one another as we navigate this global health crisis. At the YMCA, we're welcoming over 500 children each day for full-day childcare and remote learning. Branches have been transformed into learning centers where students are actively engaged in academics and then those all-important activities that allow our kids to be kids. Parents can work, knowing their children are being taken care of, learning, and having fun, all important and necessary parts of their growth and development. America has not seen such a drastic swing in food insecurity since the Great Depression, which then took nearly a decade to return to pre-Depression levels. Closer to home in Worcester County, friends and neighbors are struggling to put food on the table. The YMCA boldly engineered a plan to eliminate barriers to access, and today is delivering 34,000 meals each week to local homes, bringing over 500,000 meals to children since the onset of the pandemic.
So where's our community? It's right here, and we're not going anywhere. It's true the community may look and feel different, but there's one thing you can always rely on. Your YMCA continues to work hard every day to support our neighbors as best as we can, using every resource that we have at our disposal. And together, we will get through this. In the meantime, stay safe and be well, and we look forward to seeing you at the Y.
Good evening, and welcome to our 157th annual meeting and volunteer appreciation event. This is our second virtual annual meeting. We look forward to the day, though, when we can meet again in person. I am Jack Foley, Chair of the Board of Directors, and it is truly my pleasure to kick off this special evening with my colleagues on the board a host of volunteers, staff, and so many wonderful supporters of our great YMCA. Tonight concludes my term as chair of the board of directors, and I cannot imagine any better way to transition volunteer leadership than to moderate our annual business meeting, followed by an appreciation of our volunteers, our special award recipients, and their meaningful service to our Y. So much has been achieved over these past 2 years, and I am certain that our collective good work will continue. I have never been prouder to be part of an organization that has accomplished so much during this very challenging year. Tonight, we will vote to elect our corporators, our boards of governors, and renew and elect the board of directors and officers. Throughout the appreciation event, we will honor the commitment of our volunteers and honor our award recipients. If you have not done so already, I want to remind the directors and the corporators to have your cell phone on hand and follow the instructions that were recently emailed to you in order that you may cast your vote. Now, it's my pleasure to introduce David Connell, who will give the President and CEO remarks.
Thank you, Jack, for the introduction and for your commitment to the YMCA of Central Massachusetts and serving as the chair of the board of directors. Thank you, Vice Chair Polly Tatum and past Chair John Doyle, for your unwavering support of our great organization. Welcome to current and soon-to-be elected board members, advisory board, corporators, and friends of the Y. And finally, a very special welcome and thank you to our YMCA's executive leadership team, branch and executive directors, along with a group of leaders that we have dubbed as our crisis team, and their staff for their steadfast execution during the health pandemic. 1 year ago, I concluded my remarks by reciting a poem with the closing stanza that reads, "And people healed, and in the absence of people who lived ignorant ways, dangerous, meaningless, and heartless, the earth also began to heal. And when danger ended and people found themselves, they grieved for the dead and made new choices and dreamed a new vision and created new ways of living." And then I close and thank the audience for their support as we maneuvered through the pandemic and led through the healing. This evening, I remind you that the healing is dynamic and centers around the core of what we continue to emphasize, investing in our people, that is staff, members, communities, and volunteers, investing in programs that are relevant to our communities, and philanthropy to support the ever-growing needs. Who could have imagined that just the mentioning of the names Pfizer, Moderna, and AstraZeneca, Johnson & Johnson could create a level of hope for the next several months? This vicious pandemic has wreaked sheer havoc on communities throughout Central Massachusetts and beyond, resulting in unparalleled job loss and economic impact, interrupting our educational system to a level that will take years to remedy, and devastating our healthcare system. Perhaps most conscientiously is the stark reality that COVID-19 continues to wage war on the physical, mental, and emotional health of men, women, and children. But let's be clear, 2020 will certainly be remembered as the highest level of engagement by YMCAs and other nonprofit agencies. I am proud to share that your YMCA rushed to the front lines of our nation's response to COVID-19 during the early days of the pandemic, and your Y is committed to do whatever it takes, for long as it takes, to help our communities recover and thrive once again. But we can't do it alone. We continue to advocate for more support from the federal, state, and local government, emphasizing top priorities for the Y that includes supporting the healthy development of children and their families, preventing chronic diseases and reducing health disparities, and intensified our diversity, inclusion, and global equity work by promoting safe, welcoming, and inclusive communities. We have strengthened our current partnerships, established new relationships, and continue to seek new opportunities to support our communities. We continue to be informed from multiple internal and external sources, and our planning approach is cemented in relentless discipline in our financial, operational, and safety regimen. As we reflect on the past year and highlights about our response to COVID-19 and share thoughts and assumptions as we move into recovery, we are grateful that we continue to evolve in significant areas of our program delivery. In the prelude to this evening's meeting, we have shared our story regarding our response. Your YMCA swiftly developed and executed a COVID-19 response. The need was immense, and we pivoted to align our expertise and resources to support the community through childcare, food delivery, and a plethora of virtual services to manage well-being. This translated into a series of services we delivered and will continue to deliver, including emergency childcare. We offered 1,600 slots at no cost to children and essential workers. Food preparation and distribution in urban communities, including Worcester, Southbridge, Fitchburg, and Leominster. And by the end of the school year, we will surpass 1 million meals served in the city of Worcester. Remote learning sites serving over 500 children. Well-checked calls to those segments of the membership that are vulnerable and at risk. Virtual opportunities to stay healthy and well. Physical and mentally, we're working with all ages, and we hosted 6 equity vaccine clinics that administered more than 3,000 immunizations. Membership dollars have long served as the revenue base to deliver a wide range of programs and services, particularly those that are not covered with traditional membership fees, such as social responsibility efforts. Through March, 47% of our member units continue to pay dues accordingly, leaving a significant gap to our funding. Our philanthropic success of securing $2 million in FY 2020 and over $4 million single-handedly filled this necessary void. During the winter months of COVID-19, numbers continue to rise. Many states returned to mitigations that were placed during the spring of 2020. We compile guides and checklists and facilities closing, scenario planning, and financial modeling to make sure that we can utilize our assets to remain connected with our Alliance of Massachusetts WISE, where we continue to build our work. And each time during this process, we were hopeful. In the area of advocacy, we continue to partner with YUSA to lead the sector-wide relief for charities effort, to generate additional financial resources for nonprofits from the federal government, either through new COVID relief legislation or a bill to fund the government. Through YUSA, we also have been in contact with white advocates who have been with appointed or nominated in the Biden-Harris administration to make sure that they understand the pressing financial needs of the YMCA. Securing additional funding for the Y remains one of our top priorities for YUSA. And during these negotiations, we remain hopeful. During the onset of the pandemic, the areas that we immediately identified that required heightened attention was health, education programs, youth workforce, food insecurity, and trauma resources. In the area of health, protecting the health and well-being of our youth and sustaining the long-term viability of critical services for the population was critical. The area of educational program recovery, expanded time on learning and after school and summer learning was critical. Workforce recovery, filling the gaps for youth is crucial as the nation recovers from this health and economic crisis. And food insecurity to ensure youth and families who rely on free and reduced meals at schools do not go hungry during the public pandemic. One area that we wanted to focus on and could clearly see was that trauma resources. We fully expected that trauma-informed care and mental health support will be needed in multiple areas such as child care, after school, and adult care. We've implemented our COVID-19 recovery operational plan to develop and implement financial and operational plans, to advance the YMCA of Central Mass as a vital partner in community change, to make progress in developing diversity, inclusion, global, and equity platforms, to revisit our commitment developing the state-of-the-art facilities, and build and execute a sustainable youth development model. From my perspective, the community priorities during the crisis continue to evolve as time lapse, and we must be able to pivot our services to meet these developing needs. After tonight's meeting, the annual report will be launched on our website. But before I close, I would like to thank and acknowledge my colleagues who have worked tirelessly to ensure that this annual meeting and volunteer event will be successful and serve as a reminder of your YMCA in action. Laurie Bastion, Chris Blackwell, Doris Harrison, Jeff Lalaberti, Carol Lukey, Eric Mackey, Betsy Moquin, Andrew Perry, Eileen Pinchuk, Christina Pulio, Laurie Sleeper, and Pam Supernot. As I close, our country has been on edge since the Derek Chauvin murder trial began. The recent shootings of Dante Wright, just 10 miles away from the court where the trial took place, and Adam Toledo in Chicago have heightened the tension of our communities. The stress and anxiety associated with COVID-19 and ongoing acts of violence across the country have added to the weight. For now, we know that emotions will be very high, and we must be ready to respond to the needs of our staff, members, and communities as they process the outcomes of these events. We will continue to work with the YMCA of the USA and our community partners and utilize our recently created resources for engaging communities and responding to their specific needs. I end with a quote by Nelson Mandela while he was in prison. The support of tested and dependable friends gives one the strength to hold on to hope and to endure successfully even in the most challenging knocks in life. You are our dependable friends, and we remain hopeful. Thank you, and enjoy the evening. I would like to introduce Jim Johnston from Bullish Lynch to give you our audit report.
Thank you, David. Good evening, everybody. I am Jim Johnston. I'm a partner at Bullish Lynch with this year's audit report. Bullish Lynch performed an audit of YMCA's financial statements as of and for the year ended September 30th, 2020. As part of this audit, we issued an unmodified opinion, which is a clean opinion, indicating that the financial statements were presented fairly in all material respects in accordance with generally accepted accounting principles. Highlights of the financial statements include total assets of $56 million, an increase of $1.3 million over the previous year. This includes $3.3 million of cash, $13.8 million of investments, as well as almost $38 million in the facilities. Total liabilities of $25.2 million reflect a $2.2 million increase over the previous year, attributed mostly to funds received through the CARES Act, specifically the Payroll Protection Program. Net assets of the Y of $30.7 million at September 30th, 2020, reflect a reduction of about $1.1 million over the previous year. Of this $30.7 million, roughly $26 million is unrestricted as to its use. In terms of revenue and expense related to the fiscal 2020 year, the pandemic obviously had a significant impact on the YMCA, specifically due to the shutdown of the facilities for significant periods of time. In terms of operating revenues of $9.8 million during 2020, this reflected a decrease of roughly $5.8 million over the previous year, mostly in the areas of membership and program-related fees. This reduction was offset slightly, however, in the area of public support. Contributions, government grants, and other public support of $9.6 million reflects an increase of $1.6 million over the previous year. In terms of expenses, in response to the pandemic and the closure of the facilities, expenses were reduced appropriately by roughly $3.6 million during the fiscal 2020. This reduction, coupled with the support from the CARES Act, specifically the Payroll Protection Program, has positioned the YMCA to move forward through the reopening process, as well as minimize the impact of the previous 12 months. In addition to the financial audit, we also performed annual compliance audits at the federal and state levels. On the federal level, in accordance with uniform guidance in the Single Audit Act, and for the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, in conjunction with filing the annual uniform financial report. In both compliance audits, we noted no instances of prohibited noncompliance, nor do we note any instances of significant deficiencies or material weaknesses in internal control. The next item of business is the appointment of the WISE auditor for fiscal 2022. I would like to introduce Tina Javajan, Chair of the Audit Committee.
Thank you, Jim. Good evening. My name is Tina Javajan, and I'm Chair of the Audit Committee. As most of you know, it takes a lot of effort and teamwork to be able to provide an audited financial statement. Special thanks to Julio and Barbara and their team, as well as Bolus Lynch for all their hard work and effort. At this time, the Audit Committee recommends the appointment of Bolus Lynch as the WISE auditor for fiscal year 2022.
Thank you, Tina, and thank you, Jim. A motion is needed to approve Bolus Lynch as the WISE auditor for fiscal year 2022. Directors and corporators, please cast your votes. A Y for yay and an N for nay. The next item on the agenda is the report from the Association's Governance Committee. And I ask Kathy Hessel, Chair of the committee, to present its report. Kathy?
Thank you, Jack. The 2021 Association Governance Committee recommends the following for election of corporators for a 3-year term ending with the annual meeting of 2024. Bonnie Adams, Sarah Boudreau, Wilbur Bullock, Kathleen Despolopoulos, Leah Despolopoulos, Jack Maroney, Rosemarie Niakako, Courtney Ordway, Sarah Beth Persiani.
A motion is needed to elect the new corporators for a 3-year term ending with the annual meeting of 2024 with 1 vote for the entire slate. Directors and corporators, please cast your vote Y for yay or N for nay.
The committee recommends the following for re-election to corporators for a 3-year term ending with the annual meeting of 2024. Michael Allard, Mike Angelini, Julie Baldwin, Trey Cassidy, Don Gabriela, Mel Greenberg, Amanda Gregoire, Maureen Harrington, Karen Hennessy, Judy Kirk, Nick Lupo, Martin McNamara, Carl Moyson, Gail Morgan, Kate Mishral, John Pacelli, Tom Roque, Rod Schaffert, Dr. Pauline Q. Sheehan, Bob Spillane, Mark Stacy, Caroline Stoffel, and Kelsa Zareski.
A motion is needed to re-elect the corporators for a 3-year term ending with the annual meeting of 2024, with 1 vote for the entire slate. Directors and corporators, please cast your vote with a Y for yay or an N for nay.
The committee recommends the following for election to the Board of Directors for a 3-year term ending with the annual meeting of 2024. Pablo Hernandez, Steve Schuster.
A motion is needed to elect Pablo Hernandez and Steve Schuster to the Board of Directors for a 3-year term ending with the annual meeting of 2024. Directors and corporators, please cast your vote Y for yay or N for nay.
The committee recommends the following for re-election to the Board of Directors for a 3-year term ending with the annual meeting of 2024. Jack Bergen, Eric Cannon, George Cox, Elijah Erb, Alan Pepple, Ray Quinlan, David Woodbury, and Ulysses Youngblood.
A motion is needed to re-elect these individuals to the Board of Directors for a 3-year term, ending with the annual meeting of 2024 with 1 vote for the entire slate. Directors and corporators, please cast your vote Y for yay or N for nay.
The committee recommends the following for election to the Advisory Board for a 3-year term ending with the annual meeting of 2024. John Doyle, Kathy Hessel.
A motion is needed to elect these individuals to the Advisory Board for a 3-year term ending with the annual meeting of 2024. Directors and corporators, please cast your vote Y for yay or N for nay.
The committee recommends the following for re-election to the Advisory Board for a 3-year term ending with the annual meeting of 2024. Lisa Banks, Doug Maestri, Mike Michaels, James Moynihan, Link Spalding, Bob Seega, and Kim Woodbury.
A motion is needed to re-elect these individuals to the Advisory Board for a 3-year term ending with the annual meeting of 2024 with 1 vote for the entire slate. Directors and corporators, please cast your vote Y for yay or N for nay.
The committee recommends the following for chairs of the branch boards of governors as members of the Board of Directors. For the Burroughs Family Branch, Pritesh Gandhi. For the Central Community Branch, Yvette Dyson. For Greendale Family Branch, Joe Tagman. For Montechusett Leominster Community Branches, Jim Homan. And for the Tri-Community Family Branch, Paul Murphy.
A motion is needed to elect these individuals to serve as chairs of the branch boards of governors to the Board of Directors with 1 vote for the entire slate. Directors and corporators, please cast your vote Y for yay or N for nay.
The committee recommends the current members of the branch boards of governors as listed on our website.
A motion is needed to elect the current members of the branch boards of governors with 1 vote for the entire slate. Directors and corporators, please cast your vote Y for yay or N for nay.
Congratulations to all the corporators, both new and re-elected, chairs and members of the branch boards of governors, boards of directors, and advisory members.
Next, we will vote on the election of the officers of the Board of Directors, and Kathy Hessel will also give that recommendation.
The Association Governance Committee recommends to the Board of Directors the election of the following officers of the Board of Directors for a one-year term ending with the annual meeting of 2022. Chair, Polly Tatum. Vice Chair, Bill Sullivan. Vice Chair, Bill Braley. Treasurer, Kim Anderson. Clerk, Betsy Landry. Past Chair, Jack Foley.
A motion is needed from our Board of Directors to elect officers of the Board of Directors for a one-year term ending with the annual meeting of 2022, with one vote for the entire slate. Directors Incorporated, please cast your vote Y for yay or N for nay. I want to personally thank Kathy Hessel and the Association's Governance Committee for their great work this past year. Thank you all for a very challenging but a very inspiring and successful year. We will continue the celebration more in the recognition event to follow. But first, a motion is needed from our Board of Directors to adjourn the 157th annual meeting. Directors Incorporated, you probably have this down by now. Please cast your vote, a Y for yay or an N for nay. Thank you very much, and we will turn to Polly Tatum.
It is my distinct pleasure to welcome all of you to the 2021 Volunteer Appreciation Event. I would like to begin with a short video that highlights our work and the importance of our unwavering belief that there is a hope for tomorrow.
It's good to see you again, because at the YMCA, we know that people are meant to be together. We've certainly faced our share of challenges, but your Y has been with you every step of the way. Today is better than yesterday, and we are filled with hope for tomorrow. Because after all, we are meant to shine. We are meant to partner. We are meant to learn. We are meant to move. We are meant to laugh. We are meant to support. We are meant to play. We are meant to rise up. We are meant to overcome. We are meant to persevere. We are meant to love. And we are meant to grow. With dedicated volunteers, members, mission partners, and passionate staff, we will continue to serve our community and to meet local needs. Your Y is 157 years in the making, and we are still meant to be together.
There is no doubt that people are meant to be together. And from the sounds of the video and the smiles on people's faces, people are also happy to be back at the YMCA. It is now my pleasure to invite Jack Foley back to the podium to acknowledge two special individuals as they transition to the Y's Advisory Board.
Thank you, Polly. I'd like to thank John Doyle and Kathy Hessel for their many years of service on the Board of Directors. John Doyle was directly involved in the merger of the Montechusett YMCA with the YMCA of Central Massachusetts in 2012. He brought his tremendous leadership skills to our Board of Directors, served 2 years as chair, and was a great mentor to me when I took over as chair 2 years ago. John also chaired the search committee that brought David Connell forward as our new CEO in 2019. Thank you, John, for all of your great work. Kathy Hessel has been a very engaged member of the Board of Directors since she joined the board in 2003. Kathy has provided great leadership and board governance. She has led the effort to create an outstanding board that drives the strategic direction for the YMCA and reflects the communities that we serve. She has made sure that all board members understood their responsibilities, felt welcomed, and kept our board focused and functioning very well. Thank you, Kathy, for all of your wonderful work. The George I. Alden Award is the most prestigious honor our YMCA bestows to an individual. It is awarded to a community leader who goes above and beyond expectations to make a profound impact on our community. And as you know, we did not have a volunteer recognition event last year due to the pandemic. However, a very deserving recipient was named, and I would like to begin by presenting the 2020 George I. Alden Award to Polly Tatum. Polly's volunteer resume is extensive and spans decades. Sorry, Polly. From mentoring young people to coaching girls' basketball teams to being named president of the Worcester County Bar Association, her contributions have impacted thousands of individuals in this community. Polly's success as a volunteer at the YMCA can certainly be attributed to the variety of skills she possesses, the relationships she has built, and the organic understanding she has of our community. The YMCA is certainly the beneficiary of Polly's commitment to leaving something better than when she found it. She assumed a leadership role in the 2017 annual campaign and was the chair of the 2018 campaign, raising nearly $2 million in 2 years to support the youth development initiatives that she knows well in our Worcester branches. She lent her expertise in the areas of message development, delivery, and effectively using various social media platforms to describe the impact of philanthropic dollars invested in young people. As a mother of 3 daughters, Polly understands well the critical role that engaging initiatives like the YMCA's Youth in Government and the Minority Achievers Program play in the healthy development of teens. In her 7-year tenure on the board, a significant amount of Polly's work has focused on strengthening the YMCA's infrastructure. Her active participation in governance, visioning, executive, and institutional advancement committees has fortified our foundation and further defined our long-term sustainability. Thoughtful engagement is critical as it ensures diverse volunteer recruitment, access to programs and services for populations who feel excluded, and relevance and connectivity to the needs of the nearly 70 communities we serve in the heart of the Commonwealth. Polly was also a member of the search committee that hired our first Black president and CEO, David Connell, in 2019. When she assumes the role of the chair of the board of directors in about 25 minutes, this will be a truly spectacular moment. For the first time in the organization's history, 2 Black leaders will be at the helm, and Polly will serve as the 3rd woman as chair of the board. This has been a long time in the making, and Polly represents the diversity and the strength to advance our great organization. It is easy to marvel at Polly's hard work and dedication throughout her tenure at the YMCA. However, her desire to serve, to be a role model to our youth, and to continue to deliver our cause to all is what should be admired and celebrated. In this spirit, we are honored to present Polly Tatum with the 2020 George I. Alden Award presented here at the 157th annual meeting. Congratulations, Polly.
Thank you. I want to thank the Central Mass YMCA, our chair, Jack Foley, our CEO, David Connell, and the entire Y staff and community for this prestigious honor. I am humbled when I think about all those individuals before me who will receive this award. I also want to thank my daughters, Jasmine, Jamise, and Jamila, and for my 5 great nephews and niece who live with me, for allowing me to try to balance parenting, running a business, and my community service throughout the years. Growing up in Leominster and Fitchburg and graduating from high school in the early 80s, jobs were scarce and my prospects for further education and a career were dim. I never could imagine what life would lead to beyond that. And I worked in what seemed like every single plastic factory in those towns. And for 2 years out of high school, I worked at those factories to keep my head above water. And I experienced my own personal surroundings of poverty, racism, sexism, and classism. And I knew that I wanted to make a difference. Later on, as a young mother of 3 daughters, I strove to create a life of hard work, purpose, and service, and to be part of my community, no matter how big or how small. You know, many of us wonder if our lives matter. Have we made an impact or difference to someone? And over the course of my journey, through my personal, professional, and volunteer work, I have and continue to discover many moments of empowerment and wonder in every corner. Strength will catch you in the small moments, when you least expect it. My joy and strength from my work at the Y is truly rewarding. We don't have to be remarkable to give back, and we don't have to be extraordinary to touch someone's life. We just have to make a choice to be present outside of our own circle, outside of our own bubble, and act with grace, with intention, and with peace. Again, I want to thank the Y for blessing my life, my family's life, and the many people in Central Massachusetts. Thank you.
Thank you, Polly. It is now my privilege to recognize our 2021 George I. Alden Award recipient, Scott Greco. For 157 years, volunteers have served as the backbone of the YMCA of Central Massachusetts, bringing wisdom and strategic direction, sharing their time and invaluable talents, and being generous supporters beyond belief. Scott Greco will long be remembered as leading during an unimaginable time and assisting the Y in raising an extraordinary amount of charitable dollars to respond to the COVID-19 pandemic. Scott joined the board of directors in 2017, and within a year was tapped to join Polly Tatum as vice chair of the 2018 annual campaign. He went on to lead the 2019 annual campaign, where he worked in partnership with other volunteers and staff to exceed a $1 million goal. Fast forward to 2020 with the pandemic, and the YMCA swiftly changed course and created a compelling case for essential services, such as emergency child care and home meal delivery programming during this historic public health crisis. Under Scott's leadership, the response from individual donors, private and community foundations, businesses, and mission partners was humbling, raising over $4 million in 2020 and affirming confidence in our organization and in our services. Scott led the planning of 2 signature initiatives, the 30th Annual Golf Classic and the Live Strong at the Y Celebrating Survivorship events, which raised over $100,000 and provided the opportunity to tell our story and to relay our impact, something that Scott valued and held high as critical tenets of the annual campaign. Scott honed his development skills by attending the North American YMCA Development Organization in Indianapolis and maximized every learning experience possible. He developed his personal narrative of impact and solicited gifts from several individuals. He strived to institute philanthropic expectations amongst his peers and at each of the branch's boards of governors. Scott was proud to host campaign kickoffs and trainings at the Hanover Insurance Group in Worcester, where he continues to demonstrate outstanding leadership skills in the insurance industry. Scott is also active on other board-level committees such as Visioning and the Central Community Branch Task Force. He embodies the Y's core values of caring, honesty, respect, and responsibility by his words, and more importantly, by his actions. For his immense contributions, commitment to community, and strong belief in the power of the Y's cause, we are honored to present the George I. Alden Award to Scott Greco at the YMCA of Central Massachusetts 157th annual meeting on this date, April 27th, 2021. Congratulations, Scott.
Thank you, Jack. I really appreciate that. First, I'd just like to congratulate Polly for being recognized for all the terrific work she's done throughout the last several years in the community and at our YMCA. 2020 was a challenging year for everyone. It's pretty obvious. No one was immune to this terrible pandemic. And so I couldn't be more honored to be a part of and contribute to the important work of the YMCA of Central Mass. As a team, we were able to pull some amazing things off despite these challenges. The WISE leadership team worked tirelessly to serve the community and those most in need. As David shared earlier, we were able to provide essential services all through 2020 and then into 2021 when the vaccine became available, being able to offer it to local Worcester residents at the vaccine site at the Central Branch. And then financially, every stone was turned over. And it was amazing to see the positive responses we received from the government, foundations, the business community, and individuals so that the work could continue. So I just want to say thank you for everyone, for everything they do every single day. And thank you.
Thank you, Scott. And the George I. Alden Award is such a highlight of the event that a few of my colleagues on the board asked to share their sentiments with this brief video.
Passionate.
Fun.
Tenacious.
Dedication.
Persistence.
Poised.
Strong.
Just want to thank Polly and Scott for receiving the George I. Alden Award. It's a huge honor. It's well-deserved for all the great work they do for the YMCA, especially in these difficult times. The Y is so fortunate to have Polly and Scott on its board of directors in leadership roles. Congrats.
Congratulations, Polly and Scott, on receiving the George I. Alden Award. You have earned it. You are the right people at the right time. And here's what I find most fascinating. You made it all look so easy, which really tells me they put a lot of work into it. Congratulations.
Polly, thank you very much for all of your years of leadership with the Y. I really enjoyed working with you on the CEO search committee. And Scott, thank you for all of your hard work on a very successful campaign during what was an incredibly difficult year. Thank you both for your commitment and dedication to the Y and our mission. And I just want to say congratulations on this well-deserved recognition.
Giving.
Strength.
Brilliant.
Joyful. Strategic.
Passion.
Wicked smart.
Polly and Scott, congratulations and thank you so much for all the time and devotion you've taken for the annual campaign. It's a lot, I know that. As Jack Foley so graciously pointed out last night at the annual meeting, Scott, you blew my record out of the water. But then again, you had a pandemic. What do people have to spend their money on instead? Thank you so much.
We congratulate Scott and Polly for their incredible work as volunteers for our organization, the hundreds of hours that each of them have put in individually in our community efforts, our advancement work, our governance work. We tip our hats to you. We're so pleased and we're delighted for you. Think of this as having earned the award rather than winning the award. Congratulations to you both.
Scott and Polly, as volunteers, we don't always know the depth of saying yes to the various questions that are asked of us. You have both been very strong in saying yes to, one, becoming our leader next year, Polly, and two, Scott, for having said yes twice to run our annual campaign. So thank you both, and congratulations, Scott, on this prestigious award.
Congratulations to Polly and Scott for winning the George I. Alden Award. Polly and Scott are very deserving of this prestigious award. Both Polly and Scott did a tremendous job running the Y's annual campaigns and exceeding budget. I've worked with Polly and Scott on a number of committees and admire their dedication, commitment, and passion for the Y and our mission. Keep up the great work,
And again, congratulations.
Congratulations again, Polly and Scott. It was only appropriate in the video that we saw Jim Homan in his YMCA hoodie up there. The Strengthening Foundations of Community Ward goes to an organization who exemplifies what it means to be a mission partner and steward of the Y's cause. This year, we are pleased to recognize Worcester Together and the inspirational leadership of the United Way of Central Massachusetts and the Greater Worcester Community Foundation. Simply put, the work of Worcester Together and those who continue to provide inspirational leadership has been nothing short of remarkable. Community leaders from the Greater Worcester Community Foundation and the United Way of Central Massachusetts, joined by generous donors and in collaboration with the City of Worcester, launched this effort in response to COVID-19. Worcester's response required a plan that matched the significance and intensity of the pandemic itself. As days progressed, the Worcester Together response team, a group of more than 200 men and women with diverse abilities, quickly organized into multiple work groups to maximize talents, to coordinate efforts, and to leverage critical resources. In a year that required not-for-profit organizations to reach deeper than ever before, this collective work, led by the United Way and the Greater Worcester Community Foundation, exemplified the true meaning of community, not merely by the words, but solely by their actions. In some of our most challenging days, a grant from the Worcester Together Fund was the difference in being able to expand the YMCA's services and to meet growing community needs throughout Worcester County, such as emergency childcare, remote learning, and the home delivery of meals. By the end of the 2020-2021 school year, the YMCA will have exceeded 1 million meals delivered to children's homes, one address at a time. Undoubtedly, this community owes our colleagues at the United Way of Central Massachusetts and the Greater Worcester Community Foundation a debt of gratitude for leading in the most challenging of times, advocating for one and all, listening to our voices, and being there simply to remind us that we will get through this together. It is with deep appreciation that the YMCA of Central Massachusetts presents Worcester Together with the Strengthening Foundations of Community Ward at our 157th annual meeting held on April 27th, 2021. Accepting the award tonight will be the interim president and CEO of the Greater Worcester Community Foundation, Carolyn Stempler, and president and CEO of the United Way of Central Massachusetts, Tim Garvin.
Thank you so much. It is, it's a special honor. And in many ways, not just to receive this award and because of the work that we, the United Way, Greater Worcester, and the YMCA have done this past year, but for me especially, I have a 50 some odd year history. I did dig through and I found my first YMCA t-shirt from the Lebanon YMCA, Beirut, 1965. The YMCA has always been there. And as much as it's an honor to receive this award, I just want to say, God bless you and everybody at the YMCA. Emergency childcare, remote learning hubs, a great summer, teen nights, 1 million meals delivered, and now vaccine equity clinics. It is not us who should be receiving this award. We should be giving it to you and to all of the employees and the volunteers of the YMCA. Thank you so much.
David, I'd like to echo what Tim said, that we should be thanking you. When I read your letter and it said that you had already delivered 1 million meals, I'm pretty sure you probably missed a few in that count. We at the Greater Worcester Community Foundation are so proud and to be a part of this initiative for you to help support this community, especially during this time where we are looking to get everyone vaccinated. That is so important to our community, especially for our marginalized community members. Tim, it has been a pleasure working with you, and I cannot wait to continue working with you as we move forward. David, it's been a pleasure, and thank you so much, and I look forward to working and partnering with you in the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Tim and Carolyn. The George Vassal Community Service Award was established to honor unsung heroes who positively impact the lives of others in southern Worcester County. Honorees exemplify the value of service to their community, as was demonstrated by George Vassell for over 8 decades. Tonight, we are pleased to present the George Vassell Community Service Award to Harrington Memorial Healthcare System. The Tri-Community Family Branch in Southbridge, along with the Board of Governors, is pleased to honor Harrington Healthcare System as this year's recipient of the George Vassell Community Service Award, because they led the way in assisting the community throughout the COVID-19 pandemic. From the onset of the pandemic, Harrington Healthcare System has worked with local and state leaders to bring emergency child care to the southern Worcester County area. Together with local legislators and the YMCA, an emergency child care site was approved at the YMCA Sarah and Richard Hardy Child Development Center in Southbridge, providing the children of hospital employees, first responders, and essential employees with a safe and secure place for the children to be while parents and guardians worked hard to fight the pandemic. The Harrington Healthcare System established local COVID testing sites and now vaccination sites across all 17 towns in that area, where members of our community are treated with dignity, care, and compassion in a well-organized system. The Harrington Auxiliary members even came together to ensure that every child at the YMCA, from infants through young teens, had the opportunity to have a Merry Christmas. Harrington Healthcare System, without a doubt, has played a major role in the last 12 months to help curb the pandemic, to assist the residents in the wide geographic area served, to continue to be a silent yet powerful partner to agencies within the community, supporting their goals and their objectives. It is with great pleasure and honor that the YMCA of Central Massachusetts and the Tri-Community Family Branch honor Harrington Healthcare System with the George Vassell Community Service Award for 2021. Accepting the award tonight will be President and CEO Ed Moore.
Hi, this is Ed Moore from Harrington Healthcare System and Harrington Hospital. I'm really pleased to have the opportunity to thank you for receiving the George Vassell Award for community service. We are very pleased that you selected us for this great honor, and I would just really like to say that we have partnered really, really well during the last 2 years throughout this pandemic. I really appreciate all the support that we had from the YMCA around daycare over a year ago, at the beginning of the pandemic, when we really needed to help support our employees and families, as well as really most recently helping us with signups for seniors and others in the local community to get appointments for the vaccination center. Your efforts are tremendous, and we really enjoy the fact that we've been working well together throughout this. I really enjoy the fact that we could really work as a partnership and serve the regional community. Thank you very much for this award.
Congratulations to this year's award recipients. All so well-deserved for the many contributions you've made to our YMCA. As Jack mentioned, last year's volunteer appreciation event did not occur because of the pandemic. However, we could not miss this opportunity to celebrate and remind them that they are so important to our Y. Here's a short video with a special twist as we hear from teens across the association about the incredible value that volunteers bring to our organization.
In recognition of YMCA volunteers, we asked teens from all of our branches to describe who a volunteer is and what makes them so special. And this is what they had to say.
People call you ambassadors or mentors. We call you Y volunteers. You bring joy, kindness, and inspiration to the people around you. You raise awareness, you're engaged and encouraging, and most importantly, you never leave anyone behind.
You're not just good at your job, you're good at all different kinds of jobs. We know that you don't do this for the money or the fame, but instead to cause a simple change. You're organizers who see no limits when it comes to making the world a better place. We're learning this from you. The key to the Y success is volunteers who never rest. When others step out, Y volunteers step in and step up. You're always down to give a hand.
At the Y, helpful and dedicated volunteers help us become better in life, education, and the things you want to accomplish. We're grateful to come to the Teen Center because a lot of us have goals, and coming to the Teen Center is helping us to achieve them. It's a second home for me, and not just for me, but for other people too.
You join a long history of the strongest and best volunteers. When you help us, it makes us strong, and all together, we are the strongest. When you show up, you show us what we can do. With your help, we will achieve more together, much more than in the past, and it will carry us into the future.
You may not think we're always paying attention, but we are. You're teaching us how to change the world, one example at a time. You give back to us, which inspires us to give back to others. We're grateful for all that you do and would like to say a huge gracias, dhanyavad, thank you.
Thank you. And we're on to one other special presentation. Last month, John L. Jack Foley announced that he will be retiring at the end of the current term of the Worcester School Committee. As quoted in one of the news articles, Jack said, "It's been a long time I've served the school committee." He went on to say, "It's time for other people to represent the community. 22 years is a long time." What the article didn't say was that many areas that Jack has served within Worcester and Central Massachusetts. Jack's commitment and service to the Central Massachusetts will be listed as legendary. He demonstrates action, persistence, determination, humor, and insight. This year, Jack will be transitioning from multiple roles within the community, and we are fortunate that he will continue to serve on the YMCA board as past chair. Working with Jack Foley provided great insight into why he has been an instrumental leader within our community. He demonstrates the ability to balance business foresight, performance, and character. He is a courageous visionary who leads with integrity, humility, and focus, along with the ability to plan strategically with a goal of uplifting our community. Since these announcements, finding a gift that is most suitable for a person who may, at some point, have more time than any other time within their lives could be difficult. However, this evening, we present this small token of our appreciation. Jack has expressed desires to play more golf. Hence, we have given him a head start. A golf bag to carry all the equipment and tools he'll need to bring to the course, as he does in the other areas that he has challenged through. A driver to continue to be that visionary leader in the long term. A putter for the attention to details, those short strokes, being patient while you do it. And of course, more than we have learned so much this year, the hybrid, the multi-purpose, being able to do whatever it takes in any given time. Jack, thank you for the 2 years of sacrifice and dedication and leading during COVID-19. We thank you. We are eternally grateful for the work you've done at the Y. Thank you.
Thank you, David, and thank you, everybody. I certainly hope these are the clubs that go straight. Everybody knows my golfing. I probably could have used golf balls rather than golf clubs, but I really thank you. And it has really been my honor and privilege to serve as chair these past 2 years for this tremendous organization. I made the comment back in 2019 that when Kathy Hunter asked me to be board chair, she neglected to tell me that she was retiring. Now I can add a pandemic to that list. In many ways, we have seen the very best of the mission and the values of the YMCA play out over this past year. Under David Connell's exceptional leadership, the YMCA stepped up to provide critical services while the pandemic raged around us and devastated our communities. We have seen that work with emergency child care services, meal deliveries to those who are hungry, remote learning support for students and families who are struggling, virtual classes and conversations with members to alleviate some of the mental health concerns, and collaborative support to help our local businesses survive. Beyond the services, we all need to recognize and remember the bravery and selflessness of your YMCA staff for putting themselves out there to help others. And we honor all of you here today. The selection of David Connell as the YMCA CEO in 2019 has proven to be the right direction, the right decision at the right time. David has shown exceptional leadership and strength during this past year. His leadership team has stepped up to address the challenges posed by the pandemic, and they are ready to move the YMCA forward in the difficult months and years that still lie ahead of us. I want to acknowledge what a tremendous group of volunteers we have here at the YMCA, from the boards of governors to the advisory board to the board of directors. I admire and greatly respect your commitment and your passion for the YMCA. I particularly wish to recognize the board of directors for your sage guidance and support for me, for David, and for the entire YMCA this past year. I thank Polly Tatum for her partnership these past 2 years with me and pledge to support her as the next chair. The YMCA is a family, the YMCA is a home, the YMCA is a community, and never were these words truer than they were in this past year. Thank you all, and now the traditional swapping of the gavel. Polly, I look forward to the next 2 years as chair, and all of us on the board, all the volunteers and the staff commit to working with you and making this YMCA a better place. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you, Jack. You have been an incredible chair of the board, and I look forward to your guidance and collaboration over the next 2 years as you resume the important role of past chair. And now it's time for my first official duty as chair of the board. It's time to bring this meeting to a close. Thank you all for joining us, and enjoy the rest of your night.